who's going to start the joke intro first? The answer is neither of us.
Yes. Hi, guys. Welcome back.
2 reviews in 2 days. Hope you guys are excited. Quite a special 2 in a row, really. The ultimate Klingon exchange program and the ultimate judge of who's real and who's not. Ness.
And Martin Devon, they are not Cardassian in their punctuality. Hey, you know what? I'm always here on time. I blame Samuel.
I was warming up the room because I watch these things downstairs and it is not warm in this house. So rather than have it's like, would you rather me be on, but then have the heater on so it's, you know?
I personally wouldn't care.
Well, we put the heater on and you guys can hear. There you go.
Are you guys complaining about the sound of the heater?
Well, they haven't heard it yet.
I can hear just fine. We're already off to a good start. We got 2 super chats, so
2.
1 before we even started. So
excellent.
Thank you, Jarzia.
Go for it.
Robert Hayes. We're not going to give spoilers on anything like that today, so shush. Shh. We'll talk about it later. All right, so Jarzia throws in $5 Canadian. Your Honor, Trek Yards was founded to seek out new audiences. Well, here we sit, waiting. Looking forward to this one. Second favorite TNG episode. Great super chat. I love that. Love it.
Creative thoughts are awesome. Awesome.
Yes. Luke Aru says I'm broke as F at the moment. So no super chats from me. That's perfectly fine. Just share the video and just enjoy, you know.
And like, because we want to get those 100.
Yes.
100 and something likes. It's important.
Everybody like. There's just 40 people here. Let's hit the like button. DS Ryder throws in £1.99.
Thank you.
One of the best episodes, pre-Borg introduction.
Well, it's one of those episodes that it's very much. Isn't this always in like the one? It's in the top. It's in a top 10 list of best Trek episodes ever. Isn't that? Wouldn't you agree? That's normally a convention.
Yeah, I would say so. I can see why too. It's really well written. It's very much like a courtroom drama, obviously. And some of those are really good to watch. Like I was thinking the whole time, Picard should play a lawyer in one of those courtroom dramas. He would be very good at it.
Although Sharon Moore has a wonderful comment. Trek Yards, considering Data overwrote B4 with his own memory, clearly didn't recognise his brother's personhood. They should have found him guilty. That is true. Data could be charged for murder, but given the data is now inside of B4...
He didn't overwrite it. It was put in there as a supplement to B4's memory. They didn't overwrite B4.
Well, the idea is in the comics it did. I mean, he means the extended universe after that of what Ats Kurtzman and JJ had and such.
It didn't overwrite. It eventually just became integrated with B4, and B4 became Data. So I disagree, not overwritten.
But I mean, he's being called Data and he's took over Data's life.
True.
I mean, if he was B4 and at the end of it he's Data with a little bit of B4, I mean, you can't argue that B4 is mostly gone.
He was before he was Data.
Yeah, there is probably some logic there to he probably couldn't have done that. But I mean, B4 was, as you know, a non, you know, barely. Was he even self-aware and sentient? I mean, you could argue that all he was doing is walking around doing nothing. And I mean, was he self-aware? Possibly not.
Good question. Rick Cassell III puts in $10.
Oh.
Epic Picard speech at the end. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you. We will. All right. So
Thank
Samuel,
you. Yes.
Go share this around, and I'll do the spiel.
Thank you. And I would like. Oh, I know. I need to see for Data's sanity 50 likes by the time I come back. 50 likes. 39 now and 50.
We're at 54 people. We can do that. Everybody hit like. So, guys, this is the part of the program where we're to contribute to the Data Sentience Fund and whatever. Feel free to super chat. I'm just kidding. It doesn't. It just helps us out. So, but feel free to super chat, get your comment read, your question answered, and make sure one of these stars of the chat, as you know, your message is highlighted and looks all pretty and shiny, and we get to see it, and it comes up in a separate window and easy to keep track of. We do keep an eye on the regular chat and engage with a lot of you guys there. But because we understand not everybody can super chat, and that's perfectly fine. But there are ways to help us, and super chats are one of the best ways. Another great way is that down in the description, there's a bunch of links to various things. Some to save yourself some money if you want to buy some Eagle Moss ships, things like that. And it all helps us out in the end. So please feel free to peruse the links and contribute or click them any way you feel like you should. There's even a PayPal option if you want to submit PayPal. Just let us know in the chat, and we will read those PayPals out from the PayPal email. If you have a comment or question, you can go that way as well. But any super chat you guys can throw our way is greatly appreciated and definitely helps out the channel. So please make sure you both hit like and share the video around afterwards. Even if you're joining late and you're watching this not live, sorry we missed you. Hopefully you can make it to one of the other lives, and we will chat with you guys then. Jeff Jacobs puts in 2:52:50 in 10 minutes. Now you guys are just showing off. The chat? Yeah, they're doing a great job. Martin Devon, PS, do you have the car to go with the Lambo jacket yet? Well, I've driven a Lamborghini. Does that count? I got to drive an Aventador, so I think I've earned it. It's funny because a lot of people come up to me when I'm wearing the Lamborghini jacket and say, did that come with the car? Or have you worked for Lamborghini? And I always say no. I always tell them I've driven one, whatever. But Sylvia's mom one day was like, you just say, yeah, you used to work for Lamborghini, used to be a test driver. They'll never know the difference. It's like, oh, well, I don't like lying to people, but I mean, hey, should maybe try that one day. We'll see. But yeah, guys, liking is definitely important. 74 of you here. Everybody smash that like button or just gently tap it or, touch screen it. Jeff has a new saying for the like button. I'll let Jeff post that on there when he gets around to it. He came up with a great one. So, yeah, he'll go again at 80 tonight. Oh, Jeff will pay again at 80 instead of 100. That's awesome. Scottish Trekkie is here. Hey, hello, Captain Foley and Samuel. Hello, Scottish Trekkie. Good to see you, sir. I was watching a few of your videos last night. Keep up the good work, Scottish Trekkie. And yeah, I'll be back to playing Bridge Crew soon, so you can jump on and join me for that. So, hey, Samuel's back.
I also put it on my Twitter, 50. Just in case.
We've already hit 50, so there you go. And Jeff Jacobs has a new saying: if the thumb is not blue, you did not do. Hit the like button, make that thumb blue.
So, like a kazoo, shoot that goo.
Or go get a screw. And then go to the loo. Hit like spike. Sorry, we're really bad. All right, let's just get into this. It's probably going to be a longer one. So.
Yes. So, Stuart, like I said before, one of the most famous of all Trek, reviewed in the top 10 always. As I said before, I haven't watched this one in its entirety probably in about 15 years, to the point that I didn't remember any of the first 25 to 30 minutes of it. I only remembered one bit from it, and it was from one of the interactive CDs. Do you? That moment is on a CD I remembered when I was a kid. So I was like, oh, I know this bit. But Stuart, what did you think now? And when was the last time you watched this? Was it like a while ago? Not that long ago?
Probably 2 years ago. Probably the last time I watched it. It was through a rewatching of the whole series.
And did you watch it as like a specific, I'm going to watch this one, or was it just like part of the set you put on? Or did you actually watch it with a certain reverence because of its fame?
Nah. No, I just watched it as part of the chronological order of the series. So
what did you think then? Measure of
I really enjoyed it. I love the writing in this. Not very.
Oh, hold on, Stuart.
The concept of.
Hold on, no, sorry, you left us. You said it's not very. Sorry.
Star Trekky, really.
Yep.
However, Bird of Prey 5 puts in $2. Super chats are illogical.
No.
And yet he super chatted. So you're an illogical creature, Bird of Prey. But thank you very much. Much appreciated.
But you're logically logical.
That's correct. So I did enjoy it. It was very well written. Great Picardness for sure. And I think I was watching it the whole time thinking it's gonna segue perfectly into watching Picard in January, because we get more Picard and Data and B4 in a drawer. So who knows what's going on with that? So I think having watched this soon, this close to Picard, this soon, this close to Picard.
Super chat for that bad joke.
Will be interesting. Or yeah, or super chat so we don't do bad jokes. Maybe that might be. I don't know.
All right. Quick question though, before I give my thoughts. I know that the most famous Trek episode ever is Sit on the Edge of Forever, and you always say you love it, but it could be any franchise. Could this not be almost any franchise?
That's why I said it's not very Star Trek.
I just wanted to double down on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It's so well written. Like, it could be in any series, really. But the principle of Data being a person would have to be swapped out with something else or whatever. But it's well done. There's good morality story here. You get to see how Starfleet's kind of has its head up its own bureaucracy at times, and the letter of the law sometimes needs a little bit of a revision. So actually, it's very well done. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, no. So my thoughts was, basically first watching it, the script is brilliant. It is. I was thoroughly surprised how little of it was in the courtroom. It's like the last third, which I was like, wow. And when you watch it, it's like, that's it. There's only like two. The courtroom is very underdone if you think about it. It's just what it needs to be.
You mean the battle bridge is very
underdone? Seriously, it's not that well done really with that bit. It's very minimalist. It's like the argument's not really made very well. It's just like this is just enough to get us through this scene. Okay, we'll say it. Great, we convinced them. I was expecting it to be like a 7-minute intro, then 35 minutes of courtroom, a really intense, clever, thoughtful, and it isn't really that. It's just kind of, it's good, but it's not like this really in-depth court stuff. It's not really. That's why I liked almost all of the pre-court stuff. I was like, this is fresh. I've never seen them really, my mental mind. So I was quite like pleased with all the stuff, and there's some lovely little bits. The poker, I didn't realize it was the first poker scene.
I didn't either. I'd forgotten that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an episode that is more than just the courtroom, which I appreciate, but the courtroom is less than I thought it was going to be. And I do think that really it feels like a TOS episode, which there was a TOS episode called Court Martial.
Yeah.
But this episode, it's very not sci-fi. I was expecting more about who Data is, what Data is, beyond like half a page scene out of a 40-minute episode. You could replace Android with Black, and this could be 100 years ago or 200 years ago. It's not really a sci-fi episode, and I was expecting a bit more Star Trek sci-fi, and I was let down by that. It's great in some respect, but it's just a TOS Black Psalm property episode. You know what I mean? Which is great, obviously, but I was expecting something a little bit different, I think. So it was an interesting watch. But bloody hell, Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, I mean, he must have been absolutely beaming at this script. I mean, he must have been like, at the end of this filming, to walk home out of his train, to drive home, be like, I did a damn good bit of television today. This was like top-notch script, top-notch, and the director must have been like, damn, you are owning these scenes, because he is the standout in this. Really, really, you know what I mean? Like, you give him credit for these are 4 lights, but in terms of like, come on, he's really good here.
No, totally agree.
Yeah.
Scottish Trekkie said he's liked the podcast. Well, it's not a podcast, it's a web series, web show, but that's okay. We don't mind people call it a podcast. And everybody go check out Scottish Trekkie as well. Met him in Birmingham. He's a good guy, so check him out. All right, though, let's get into it.
Super.
So, starts out they're en route to the newly established Starbase 173, which I have issues with when we see Starbase 173, but that's another. We'll get there.
Newly, so it's a new design, Stuart, clearly, because it's a new station. with new abilities and new techniques.
So big compared to the Enterprise, and it's not that. Anyway, we'll get there when we get there.
Poker, a completely
Yes.
unexpected start.
Well, they're going to Starbase 173 first of all for crew rotations and unloading of experimental modules and things. So, again, more of the daily life of Starfleet, kind of like that. Vincent Visions puts in $2. The Mandalorian was good. Can't wait for the live
Tomorrow.
Dun. Yes.
I'm excited. And Christopher Rowland says, it's the Inquisitor from Red Dwarf, justifying Data's existence. No, Red Dwarf would be a hell of a review show, wouldn't it? To do DLRs of Red Dwarf.
Jesus, yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Anyway, yes, now we're into the poker, and they're going through. I love how O'Brien's there as well. That was great. But they're going through the rules and, start playing their hand, and it's a really good scene. Just building this camaraderie. Even Pulaski's there, which I appreciate. I gotta say, I appreciate that she was there, and she makes one little kind of snide remark about Data, or about him not understanding poker, essentially, but not too bad. Not too bad. Essentially, though, Riker ends up bluffing him, and Data says it makes very little sense to bet when you could not win, but he's like, but I did win. So, and later that applies to what Data tells Maddox. So it was a great opening scene, and the first poker scene in TNG, which we know becomes a thing. So very well done.
Yeah, it was a very can you imagine the audience would be like, wow, cool. And O'Brien, what a shout out that he's went from I was in one episode, I was in the pilot, now he's been in 3 in a row plus the first one. And he doesn't have much of an impact in this scene, except you like him, and that's important. He has screen presence, even for the limited stuff he's given. And Pulaski, if they'd written her conventionally, she would have been more bitchy, but it would have been like, oh, so you're on the baddie side of this week. So they had to tone her down a lot. It would have been like, but she sort of implies something, but doesn't really go into it. God love Data's hat. What genius maneuver, even though he's not the dealer. So you got him there. This scene is very telegraphed. You instantly know what's going to happen. But we know TNG. I knew he was going to bluff when Data says, oh yeah, it's all the math. It's all part of the thing. And hey, if you bet more, it means you must be stronger. So it's obvious what's going to happen. But it's played just truly wonderfully. It's a good scene. It shows that Data is, you can't just rely on the logic, which is very like a Spock thing. But he can't just. Although you would think he'd research what bluffs are, and he'd get the likelihood is he bluffing or not bluffing? What's the potential chance of that? And I'm sure he could have even mathed his way out of it if he wanted to. But it shows that Data isn't everything all the time. Data has limitations, despite his massive computational power. No, it's a good scene.
Yeah. And Jarzia puts in $10 Canadian. Thank you very much, Jarzia.
Perfect.
And says, I disagree. The question of whether machines can be alive or sentient is very sci-fi and not really interchangeable with race. This is a question we will need to face probably within our lifetimes. I think it is interchangeable, though.
If you went like the 1600s and when Black Pill weren't considered people, you'd say, is this creature that we own, is it sentient? Do we have rights? If you go back far enough, it's not. It's very interchangeable.
That's really highlighted in the conversation that Picard has with Guinan.
Well, exactly.
She kind of points him in that direction without actually saying it, and it turns out so well.
Once it goes to property rather than sentience, it becomes a black pill parallel in slavery, which is why they kind of abandon is he sentient into is he property. It's not a bad thing, but you could convert it quite easily.
But then we get a shot of the Enterprise approaching the starbase, and it's just regular one. Not really much sense of scale in this picture, but the Enterprise could be quite far away there. And
what do you think of seeing regular one back again, sort of? Was it nice to see? Because we don't really see it very much, especially not in this sort of close-up detail. Ooh.
Yes, it was nice to see, but at the same time, not for a quote unquote new starbase. Later in Deep Space Nine, when it's used, I kind of get it because they're having to fall back, they're pushing back,
Yep.
Having to use older stations, whatever. This was brand new, built just near the Romulan neutral zone, and I don't know, it just seems a little out of place. So.
I mean, especially since you can see the window scale, it's a very small station. It's tiny. Like, these are not big stations, and you can't fudge the scale on a thing that has distinct scale markers. They didn't change it at all. I mean, I think it's literally just footage from Wrath of Khan, which is fine. And it looks gorgeous. I mean, it really looks amazing. It almost looks better than the movie. I don't know why. It's just brighter.
Yeah, Dan23 says, "What is the green stuff at the bottom of the starbase?" Well, we've talked about this with Andrew Probert. That's actually like in the Arboretum. You can see trees there. They're upside down here, but again, it could be different gravity plating or something. It was originally because in the motion picture, when we first see this, it's actually the other way around with the thing at the bottom. So,
yeah.
But yeah.
Ryan K says maybe they use this design because it's quick to build. Yeah, but you wouldn't build something from 100 years ago because it's quick to build. I'm sure they're quick to build 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or design something quick to build. There's only so much you can say. Oh, it's quick to build a 1910 building. Let's not build a 2002 building. Let's build a 1910. It's like, no, you just wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, it's like aircraft. If someone went to like another world war, and in the UK, with these bomb shelters because we got bombed by the Nazis, you wouldn't say, "Oh, it's quicker to build a bomb shelter from the 1910s or 1930s." You'd say, "Well, no, let's just build something modern, or they design a new thing." I get what you mean, but it's just a stock reason. This shot's fine, but yeah, they really should have not used it. And this is one of those things they could have changed for the remastered, like just designed a new space station and been like, Andy, come back, design a new space station, and build it as a physical. I mean, come on, build it as a miniature. That'd be kind of cool. And I don't know, they weren't going to do that obviously, but it lets it down a little bit. But you get this new location, this new set, which it's weird. There is this set because what's the redress of? I'm looking at it and thinking, oh, it's a real set.
I'm not actually sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Looks like a redress of the Orville's mess hall.
Well, that's
went up to the upper deck.
So they spent all the budget on getting a set from the future.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Good.
Well, Hellrats 96 puts in $5. I know it's still early in the episode and discussion, but let's not forget that while Data dodged the slavery bullet, the EMH Mark 1s didn't. Yeah, well, that was fresh in my mind the whole time.
Yep.
And it's just going to have to be brought up again in Voyager, which it is kind of.
Yep.
So, yeah.
No, I was thinking that when they said that. It's like, yeah, they do make
but
a slave.
They didn't have the holograms. They didn't have these holograms yet, so.
Oh, it's only. I mean, but you know that Zimmerman's working on them right now.
Oh yeah. He's got early prototypes of it for sure. But
I mean, yeah, no, it was a big thing in my brain too. Yeah.
SWTX Chaser puts in $5. I thought it was the announcement sign, like at an airport on the bottom of the station. Yeah, it looks like a little bit from a distance, but when you get up close in high definition, it's five trees.
That's funny. No, I'll mention that when we get there. There's a really nice nod in this episode. Although what isn't nice is this blue screen of the window. That's not great when they're both in front of the window. Nor is the rather crap shot of the Enterprise just going by. It's like ugh.
Well, that's very reminiscent of Trouble with Tribbles with the model hanging outside the window. Done better here, of course, but
yeah, that feels like a 1980s fan film. Honestly.
Yeah.
But we can introduce this new character who we get quite a passionate hello.
Well, her name is Philippa. I didn't know how to write her last name. I can't pronounce it, so save my life. So, Philippa Giorgio. She's got plastic surgery. She now looks like this. So there you go.
Well, no. She's the holographic suit that she did on Kronos.
Oh yeah, yes. Yeah, and we find out it's been 10 years since they've seen each other, but feels like 50. We probably want to hit me in the chair or in the teeth with a chair, but
or something else. Wink.
And we don't know why yet. Like why the hostility, or why would she say that? We find that out soon enough, but Yeah.
Well, I'll say that in a minute. But yeah, then we cut to an exterior and Stuart. Right. So that space station is about 100 times as tall. One of those windows is the size of a Bassard collector.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, my note here was sinful. What do you think of this?
Star Trek Sins. We should start a new show called Star Trek Sins.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding.
Oh, that's actually a good idea. Like a dedicated one. Problem is you couldn't monetize it because people would they'd whatever it, but
I could do it live though.
well.
Anyway, just pointing out the flaws in each episode. Anyway, yeah. So the station really bugs me. It's way too big for what it is or what it's supposed to be. But whatever. Just nobody will know. Nobody will pay attention to that.
No one watched Star Trek 2. No one did, right, Stuart?
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny. It's not even like if it was the same scale as the like I said last week with Bird of Prey. If it was the same scale representative compared to this Enterprise A, but like this was smaller than the A. They knew that when they were making it. Like I'm sure Mike and Denise, if they were on at this time, or Rick, it's like, should we make the space station 50 times as big? I don't think we should. Yeah. Dan 23.
Is that an ion cannon? No, it is. Oh,
no, yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Tezengari said lower left corner, is that an ion cannon? It is not. It is actually a stellar, like a telescope. It's for studying far away phenomena.
Which I love. You always think it was like a gun, but it's not. And Dan 23 says sometimes you can get the same thing at different scale. Yes, but then the windows should not be the size of a billion windows.
Yeah, they should have changed it so the windows were much smaller and laid out differently, and
which would have meant a whole.
It's the Bird of Prey paradox with sizing.
But unfortunately, this is embarrassing. This is like it could have been 1/2 the size, 1/10 the size. It's just embarrassing. There's no good reason. And the Enterprise honestly looks stupid next to it. It looks stupid. You know what they should have done? They should have just painted out the windows. If they'd filled in the docking bay, plugged in the windows, including the arboretum, then maybe I could have bought it. Like, yeah, it's just a bigger station. Or if they'd cut off the bottom bit and just had the top light later on, that would have been better. Or even cut the entire model off and just have the top bit with a space door and have that be like Enterprise D space door and say, yeah, they just built that space dock and it's just the top bit and it's just a big that I could totally buy, ish.
Yeah.
Just embarrassing.
It is. But anyway, here we get the conversation between these two. They were old flames, I guess, kind of. But then she was actually in charge of his Stargazer court-martial. I was just doing my job. It's standard procedure when a ship is lost. You enjoyed it, more so than getting to the truth. But we also find out that she is now back in Starfleet. She said they forced her out, and he's like, no, it was your pride. Whatever. We still don't know what that's really all about. But now she's back, and she's in charge of the 23rd Sector JAG office, which is just like a futuristic version of the modern-day Navy JAG office. So whatever. I mean, you see more military parallels there, so that's fine.
This is she's an interesting character to introduce. The chemistry is it's not I don't buy they were lovers in a sense because they're so much changed now. I buy they hate each other now. Like that played off well, but I think Picard is so over her, and it comes across in performance. It's like he wouldn't take her back ever, you know. Is the vibe for this performance. But I found it kind of strange that she was head of his Stargazer court-martial. Anytime you lose a ship, you're court-martialed. It's like you threaten court-martial, we've done something worse of the worse. Like accidentally losing your ship. Like getting court-martialed sounds really dramatic. Yes, he got found innocent, but I didn't. Anytime he loses a ship, so that means Picard was court-martialed when he lost Enterprise D. It's like what?
I wouldn't call it a court-martial necessarily. Just an investigation to see if there's any wrongdoing. I mean, it happens all the time, even with fighter jets. If a fighter jet goes down and the pilot ejects, there's always like a court-martial to find out whether they're at fault, an inquisition, something like that. And then they're either proven at fault or not, and everybody moves on. But like losing a $30 million plane, like in Top Gun, wasn't his fault. He got, no charges. It was fine. So it's the same thing. We see it even in the Discovery short where she loses the ship to the Triples. She's having some kind of investigation type procedure there as well. So
that's the mistake.
Board of Inquiry. That's it.
Don't call it court-martial. Court-martial is the absolute worst thing you can have.
Yes.
After any ship is lost. So every Dominion War battle, if a captain survives, the captain gets court-martialed.
That's different. That's at wartime. If it's in a battle.
That's not what she said. She said any time. That's the problem with the wording. And she's a letter of the law sort of person. If she had said inquiry, fine. I just thought wrong word to use. Script. Don't use the fullest worst thing.
It was the wrong word. It should have been like.
It just bugged me a lot.
Yeah. No.
But this episode is lovely with canon, and this is why some people say, "Why care about canon these days? Just do whatever you want." But Stargazer. Don't need to invent another ship, use the one you had. It's Tasha. Don't invent another sexual partner for Data, use the one you have. You know what I mean? That's why I think this episode's weakest part, I think, is actually this woman. Not for the acting per se, but for you're meant to have a distinct connection between the two, but you invented it in this episode for this episode. If she'd been in it previously, would have played better. You know what I mean? I don't know if you'd agree with me at all there, but I think that's the weakest part is the lack of connection with these two. That it's forced onto you, doesn't quite click. It's meant to play a big part, doesn't quite work. It ends. But if it'd been built up, could have been really better. What do you think?
Yeah. I wish there was just no connection between them at all, to be honest.
Well,
I don't know. It wasn't needed. I felt kind of wedged in there, but whatever.
Well, it makes sense in the sense that. Yeah, then he's fighting his ex-lover that betrayed him. Oh, it's dramatic. But it doesn't actually play into it very much. You don't get a sense she's punishing him at any point. It's weird. It's like they throw that in and don't use it as a card. I was expecting that as like the caveat, but I was kind of like let down by that as well.
Well, Jeff Jacobs puts in 283. 80 is good. We got 80 likes again at 125. Hashtag blue thumb is blue like spike. 126 people watching. Everybody hit like, please do.
Yes, and guys, super chats are super important. 125 people you watching. 70% of our income is on super chats currently. It's a bit of a bad time for us. So, $2, $1, $5. It's more important than you can realize. So, give a little, get a lot.
Dreamer out there puts in $2. Will you guys review the extended cut of this episode? We talked about that yesterday. We might review the extended scenes. I don't know about doing the whole episode again because we're going to cover it all here, but I don't need to really review the extended cut if I'm honest, but whatever. We'll see. We'll see.
It's probably like just the extendedness of it. We can just talk about the new scenes and then say, does it change our view of the entire? Like, I'll rewatch it in the fullest because I've no idea where they are. But I'll just sense of, is it a better episode? Is it not? Sort of thing. So it'll be like an hour live probably.
Yeah. I like here where she says, "Glad to see you're still a pompous ass and a damn sexy man." It's like, wow.
But his face is like,
Yeah,
not really. That's no. Which I kind of like. It was weird to give. Like, I think you're right. It was weird to give that sort of flirty. You know what it should have been? It should have been the It should have been the girl from Paris that you met in season 1. I don't like if they'd played that differently. It should have been her. You betrayed. You left me 25 years ago. Holy shit! Now here I am. In charge of your fate, sort of. Whatever.
But anyway, Admiral comes in with this other guy, and introduces him as Commander Bruce Maddox. I didn't write down the Admiral's name, so whatever. But I like his uniform. It's one of the nicer Admiral's uniforms, in my opinion.
And Stuart, it looks a lot more like the Picard Admiral's one. So they
does. You in the sleeves? Yep.
I mean, it looks less like a Trek uniform it looks more like a fancy Trek uniform, if that makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, he says he wants to go check out the Enterprise, and Maddox wants to talk about something, so we'll talk about that later. That's fine. Yeah. So,
what a face, Mr. Maddox! What a face! I've just got this picture of the two. It's like, it says 1,000 words.
I found it difficult getting screenshots of him because every time I did, his eyes would look like they were closed. So I had to wait for another one.
Yeah,
But anyway.
You had to Photoshop his eyes open.
Yeah. So they come on board the Enterprise. As soon as the Admiral walks out, Riker's on the turbolift as well. He's like, Admiral on the bridge.
Yeah.
They start act professional. I mean, they have to do that. They do that these days when there's Admiral on deck or whatever.
It's just so funny that he like his head just pops his head out a little bit of the turbolift.
Yeah.
On deck. And it's just funny. Should have been a close up, and it's just a bit funny the way they shot it.
But you see Maddox look at Data kind of looks over, like recognition there.
Dum. That's gonna be important, Stuart. I bet you.
Yeah, I bet you it will be. But here we find out the Admiral's talking about the base having built near the Romulan neutral zone. Better just to keep the Romulans on their toes and let them know that we're here. And then he ends it up. It was a really short walk around the bridge. But anyway, for 500 years, every ship to bear the name Enterprise has become a legend. This one is no exception.
So that's including the ones in the 1800s.
Yeah, they have all played a part in history and done important things. So.
And little note, I like the fact that they reference the Borg again, although pre-Borg, but because there was lots of disturbances along the neutral zone, lots happening there, so we're going to build it here. But that's one in the chat said, yes, this will certainly scare the Romulans. This little space station built 100 years ago. Yeah, really, really strong stuff. But I like that. Although, also, this thing wouldn't be able to take on a Borg anything. Like, it's such a non-space station. But I like that. Again, a bit more canon. And TNG is not known for canon, as in continuing continuity. This was a nice touch, for sure.
Anyway, Commander Maddox here has something he wants to talk to you about. Well, he actually says Commander Maddox is here to work on your android.
Abrupt and dramatic, that line.
Yeah. And we find out here that during Data's evaluation to enter Starfleet, Maddox was there, but he was the only one there that opposed his application on the grounds that he was not a sentient being. So Picard asked for more details. What do you intend to do? I'm going to disassemble Data. So that's where the commercial break. Dun dun dun. Dreamer out there puts in $5. Fun story. The writer was given a director's cut of the episode, and they borrowed a 20-year-old VHS from her to be able to add in 13 minutes of extra scenes. Sweet.
Yeah, wonderful story to create an unknown new version. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the abruptness of this scene is really interesting, but it creates an interesting paradigm straight away because Data was allowed. He was this is the only guy that said no, he shouldn't be in Starfleet, but he was still looked at, went through training, approved as a person to get in Starfleet. So they obviously gave him rights as soon as they let him join Starfleet. It wasn't we found him, we own him. It was should he be Starfleet? Let's everyone give a choice. So you would think they already gave him the rights of a Starfleet officer as soon as they put him in. What I mean? Like, this episode doesn't actually, what I like about the first half, you wouldn't think it would be going to a trial episode. It leads to a different direction, and it sort of takes a little bit of a, we're going there, are we?
It's like they didn't put property of Starfleet, Union Soon copyright trademark stickers on his ass or anything.
I was about to say, or his shoe just lifted up his foot. It's like probably of
Andy.
Starfleet. Yeah, they're probably doing soon.
Starfleet in black magic marker.
But it's scrolled out, and then it's
with
Starfleet.
the R's backwards and
Yeah, and a little heart over the I, Starfleet. But yeah, what an actor! Maddox's performance right from the start. Like he's. I mean, this probably could have been the guy from season 1 who was a very similar sort of role. What was his name? The guy that got the mother alien at the end.
Oh, that was why can't I think of his name now? Yeah, I know who you mean. Conspiracy guy.
Well, they're very similar personality types. It's the
douche.
But yeah, douche who is trying to do it generally for the right reason, but doesn't know how to be with people. I felt like he shouldn't have died. If this had been him again, that'd have been even more powerful. I'm just saying, like
Remick, Dexter
there
Remick was his name. Thank you, Jarzia.
But you know what I mean? It's basically the same character. Just this one's a little bit more dickish, but he's also being forced. He's being more pushed against. So I guess he feels like there's more reason to be dickish.
I guess, yeah. Um, but yeah, I went there next season in the conference room. We see the space station background there, or whatever. But this is where Maddox is saying, ever since I first saw it at the evaluation, I wanted to learn more about it. I want to continue Soong's work. We're very close to replicating the progress, but as a first step, I must disassemble and study this. He's calling him it and this. Basically, I want to dump its memory core into the Starbase computer and then start a detailed analysis of its construction. And Data says, so you've constructed a positronic brain? Basically, yes. And Data says, so how did you get around the problems with the neuro blah, blah, blahs and the things and the doohickeys and the woohoos? And, oh, we haven't yet. So, but yeah, then Data says, I think your research lacks the necessary advancements to support an experiment of this magnitude. And Picard says, I can't allow you to take a valued member of my bridge crew. So Maddox is like, I was afraid of that. So here is the Starfleet transfer orders, reassigning it to Starbase 173 under my command. So that's that whole scene in a nutshell. I thought it was very well played, very well done. I love the filming that they use because he has his back to Data at like all times. Some of the angles they use are very like to emphasize that like he does not consider him important enough to be part of the conversation.
100%. Well,
so very well done on that.
Yeah, it's very intelligently made, this episode.
Yeah.
This is the scene that I was like, this is a scene in this episode. I had completely no idea that you know the reason for the trial is that he can build his own. He hopes he can build his own robots. And I love Data's counter. It's like, but do you have a way of actually storing my brain in another brain? He's like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, soon. It's like, I don't think you. No, it's well played. It's a very, like I say, you don't expect to go to trial. It's a bit of a sort of science fiction story with this sort of problem. No, it's good. I mean, what do you think of this scene and all of itness?
That was very well done. Nothing was extra and not needed in the scene. That's one thing I like about this episode. There's no extra fluff. There's no filler. It's all well written dialogue and very, very good pacing. So
except the love interestness with Picard.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that it doesn't even. If it had played more into the end, it would have been better. But it didn't even. Yeah. But it couldn't have because she was a lawyer, and those aren't meant to. But yeah, then it turns around. It's like, no, I have the. You're not going to give them over to me? Well, I have the orders here. So F you. I'm doing it anyway. It's like, what? Oh no.
Yeah. So next scene is Picard's ready room. Data walks in, and it says, I will not submit to the procedure, sir.
Yep.
Then Picard sits down with him, and actually this surprises me a little bit. Picard kind of toes the company line. He's like, I have to take Starfleet's interests to heart as well. What if many more androids like yourself could be constructed? So to which Data is like, well, you know, Geordi can see better than all of you, can he? Why aren't all Starfleet officers required to get cybernetic eyes? Cybernetic implants? And Picard didn't have an answer, and so Data's like, it's precisely because I'm not human. So he kind of shot Picard down right there, and I think Picard at that moment realized, shit, I don't want to come off like that, because as soon as Data leaves, he he goes to the computer and asks for all relative information on Starfleet regulations on transfer of officers.
Yes.
So
yeah, this is I mean, how does Brent act to this scene as an actor? How would you approach, you know what I mean? And he plays that line so well. There's so much nuance to Brent's non-performance. It's wonderful, and there's little little subtle sub-expression smiles aren't full smiles. You can't do full smiles, and there's a lot of wonderful stuff here. And I appreciate, you know, again, this is probably written script. It's Picard, you know, I mean, there is the big picture of Data. I mean, think if you might not die, you know, it's like testing antibodies, testing cures on people. You've got to test it on people, and yes, it might risk you, but you could save 1 million lives. Is it not worth that? I mean, you've got to at least try, or at least try to try, even if trying is too much of a risk. You got to try to try. He's got responsibility. Data's well-being does not outweigh all of the Federation. How can it? That's irresponsible.
Yeah, and that storyline crops up a few times, even with Worf and his spine surgery. If you remember, the lady doctor that wants to do that said, if we experiment on, this experimental procedure, it could save millions of lives in the future or whatever. And Crusher's opposed to it because it puts... Anyway, it's all like sacrifice one for the greater good. It comes up quite a few times in Star Trek. So,
but I have a confusion. I have a confusion in this scene for me personally. I understand that Data's argument about people don't force themselves to use Geordi's vision is a good argument, but it's not the same as Data became multiple people. I don't understand the direct parallel here. Please explain that to me, because they're not. For me, they're not. It's not analogous. So why is he? Please explain. I don't get it.
Just using it as a point of reference to show Picard how ridiculous the argument is that they should be able to allowed to take him apart to create more of him, because they might be better officers, they might be people that can do dangerous jobs, but Geordi has better vision, so why don't you guys all have better vision? It was just a way to make Picard, for lack of a better term, pardon the pun, see his point of view. So I totally followed along with it the whole time. I didn't try. It's not a one-to-one, and it's not a one-to-one comparison by any means. But it's... So
it just doesn't really connect with me. Like, Data is one person, but Data's analogy means every person's eyes getting broken, so therefore it's not analogous, because one person versus everyone. The Data droid did get his eyes, whatever. People. I think it's just choice rather than anything else. It's not analogous. Just saying, well, you're all choosing not to have eyes that are better. I can choose not to allow the Federation to make androids. But it's felt a little bit of a stretch. I mean, guys,
I think it was a personal choice issue.
Yeah, or maybe it's more like it's the greater good. Well, you guys don't choose to do the greater good, so why should I? You guys should have better vision. You choose not to. That would help everyone else, but you don't. So I can choose not to help everyone else. It's not that I'm being not. I just don't want to. You don't want to. I don't want to.
Just a personal choice argument. Exactly.
Okay, but it's not actually about him being deactivated or about the eyes. It's just about the choice. Okay, that's why I was losing, because they're different arguments and didn't mean the same thing. Yeah.
But Picard then ends up in Nuts' office there. Says, "I need your help. I've been trying to make sense of this gobbledygook, but it's beyond me."
Yeah.
And she's all pleased with herself that, oh, you need my help, like playing it all flirty and whatever.
Well, she's trying to flirt.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's succeeding properly, but she's trying.
And she says, he can refuse to undergo the procedure, but he can't stop the transfer. And the whole thing comes up with he has rights. Is there an option? She goes, well, there's always an option. And then she says something about, you really came to me because you need my help, or you wanted my help. He says, I had no choice but to come to you for help. So yeah, just yeah. I don't know.
This scene is where you realise she's a worse actor than him, and you put the two in a room, and she doesn't reach his level.
Yeah,
it doesn't. They're not on the same wavelength, and it doesn't quite connect. Like, she's fine.
She doesn't have the gravitas of him, for sure.
Well, and it's not just that, but he is being character. She's acting a part. She's just acting the lines. He is this because she's had 2 years performance just a better actor, I think. I just didn't buy half what she was saying, but it's fine. It's a hard part to play this one anyway. I don't know how I'd play this part. I have no idea.
SWTX Chaser puts in $2.
Oh, thank you.
Someone is thirsty, and Picard is not having it. That's right.
I like that.
He's not gonna let her.
I like that. And Wayback Text says her badge looked oversized. Must be her size. I thought that. I thought the badge looked a bit too big on her in comparison. But yeah, because she's a smaller person. I thought that.
I didn't. But now I'm looking at it, maybe a little.
Doesn't need to be much for your brain to see it, I found. So, yeah.
Yeah. Then we see Data packing some stuff up in his quarters, his medals, a book, the little Tasha Yar hologram thing.
Yeah, that hell of a reference.
Yeah. And then he opens a drawer. Oh, he puts his medals in from the drawer, whatever. Goes into the other room, and then Maddox just strolls on in.
Yeah. Like a dick as well. It's real like...
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. And to which Data says, is it not customary to request permission before entering one's quarters? And then they have this long back and forth about the procedure, and your memories will remain intact. And Data's like, yes, but just as the facts of the events, not the flavor of the moment could be lost. He talks about the parallels with poker. I mean, I learned all the rules and know the textbook version of poker, but when I played it, it's not the same experience, you know. So that was very well done. I think the poker scene was really helpful in that regard. So I like that.
And 2PL Troy Mason asks, how do you just walk in the room? If Data didn't lock it, you can still just press open. I mean, you've got to actually lock the room for it to be locked. Yeah. The doorbell is an open button. I mean, it's the choice. It's politeness to say hello. I mean, if you don't lock your door, you could just I could walk into your house. It's the same situation. I think Brent's acting here is a full 10 out of 10. I'll be honest. I think it's this scene again. I had no idea it was in this episode, and I was like, he is really well said here. He's basically saying, mate, I might die. I think I'll die. Don't you get it? I'm more than me. I'll die. Yeah. I love it. But the dialogue is so crafted.
Yeah.
It's very good. Very, very good.
And Maddox is like, well, I'd rather have done this together. But one way or the other, get done. You're under my command. And then we find out that, no, sir, I am under no one's command. Yeah. I resigned from Starfleet.
I love the way he says that.
I regret the decision, but I must.
Yeah.
Dr. Soon created something unique that added something to the universe.
Yeah.
That will be destroyed and be lost, and I cannot allow that. I must protect his dream.
Yeah.
And so must I, but keep packing, because one way or the other, this will happen.
Yeah.
So they both kind of, and that's the thing, they both kind of have the same goal here at this point. He wants to create new positronic androids. Data wants to maintain what Soon created, but the other guy thinks he's doing the same thing. So it's kind of getting lost in translation a little bit for Maddox. He wants to continue on Soon's work and create more Datas. So I don't think he quite understands exactly what Data was saying to him, but anyway. Yeah. Good scene.
It's hard when you have a character like this, Maddox, where we aren't meant to like him, but he's trying to do stuff for the greater good of everyone. And, he doesn't want to hurt Data. I do think that while he doesn't think of him as a person, he treats him more like a person until he's forced not to. Like, he's got a certain level of respect, but when he's like, I think as at one point, it clicks in his brain, no, of course not. What do you mean? He's not a person. Of course he isn't. Like, he's not on that level at the start. Otherwise, he would just bulldozer. But he's being forced into a corner to get what he wants. No, it's interesting, and the poker thing's a good thing. I had another point about what else about this scene. I don't know.
About maintaining what Soon created.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
his dream. Yeah.
Yeah, not that, but you reminded me when you said that Maddox said, "I hope we can work on this together," even though you just said that all his brain waves was going to get transferred and out of his body. How are you working together if he loses his brain inside the computer? Like, the working together would be the first week, and then the rest of it not.
Maddox doesn't know that he's be losing his. As far as he's concerned, everything that's data will be transferred to the computer and can be transferred back or talk to him via the computer. Where Data's like, no, I'm going to lose something. I'm going to lose the essence of who I am. But he doesn't see it that way. So
I don't get the impression that he would talk to Data in the computer, because once, like, you're not going to learn anything from Data's engrams, just his physical body. I got the sense that when he puts them in the computer, he's like, "Great, data's out of the way now." That's kind of the vibe I got from
I don't
him.
think so.
Okay. Yeah, just a great scene. Great scene.
Yeah.
Now he can't resign. He's not happy because if he resigns, which I thought was a great little sort of simple twist. It's like, well, he can't resign. I won't let him resign.
Yeah. It's because it looks human that you feel this way. If it was a box on wheels, I would not be facing this resistance. And I thought immediately of R2-D2. Like, God damn it, if it's a trash can on wheels, I'd fight you tooth and nail too, because I love that little droid. So it's an invalid argument, sir. That's okay. That's where the whole conversation of consider that every ship in Starfleet with a data on board, people wouldn't have to be put at risk. The androids could do all the dangerous work. So he must not be allowed to resign. Picard's like, well, if he's a Starfleet officer. He has certain rights. Rights. I'm sick and tired of hearing about rights. And then she actually has something good to say. We have rule of law. You can't just use people to experiment on, to focus on your pet theories. Let me put this another way. Would you allow the computer of the Enterprise to refuse a refit? And she's like, well, no, the Enterprise is Federation property, so no. And that's where the property issue comes up. So, I mean, this is a great conversation. It really escalates quickly from he can't resign to all of a sudden now he's property.
Yep.
And it's just a natural flow of the discussion. It's like, oh shit, well, that went bad. Yeah,
it's where this episode shifts in tone quite drastically. But you're right, it is natural because Maddox, I mean, he's now jumping at straws, reaching for straws. But I mean, it is an interesting point, as he said. Well, would you let the computer not allow a refit? Well, of course you wouldn't, because it's a thing within a thing. An iPad doesn't have the right to say no. Data is a robot. Data is a artificial thing. What? But I mean, it isn't the same. But at least it started the conversation going, I guess. Or at the very least, whatever hurt this gave Data, it gives him rights forever.
Yeah.
So at least there is that.
Next scene, we're back aboard the Enterprise and 10 forward, and Data's unwrapping a present. Taking his time, and Wesley's like, "You're supposed to rip the wrapping paper off," and this frustrates me so much because I know people like this, and even some family members.
Of which side of the
fence?
Are like,
with what Data's about to say right now.
Oh.
With the utilization of little care, the rest of the wrapper can be used again. And I'm thinking the whole time, this is probably replicated wrapping paper. You're just going to throw it in the replicator to get it dematerialized anyway. What's the matter what form it's in? But Wesley says, Data, you're missing the point. So he just, even though he took it off successfully, he just rips it. But I have family members that try to save things like, wrapping paper and bag. Just rip it open. Love of God.
You know what the irony is? My mum does this, but she doesn't use the wrapping paper again. She just puts it somewhere.
Exactly.
And then uses another roll. Or buys another roll because she's forgotten where she put the wrapping paper.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, as long as you recycle it, just buy a new one. I mean, you can afford $1.50 to get new wrapping paper 9 months from now. It's fine. Yeah. Some things you can just buy. It's fine as long as it's recycled. And this was a funny one. It's Wesley's only moment, and he's such a kid. But the aggression that Data Brent puts in the rip, I was like, ooh. He's like, F you, kid. You little shit. Like, I got real annoyance from that moment. I don't know about you, but I was like, ooh, Brad, you are projecting a lot of shit there. I don't know if you got that at all.
Well, no, I didn't.
Watch it again.
Because it doesn't transfer to his face. His face is very just calm and relaxed.
Oh. Rip. Watch it again.
But I love the reaction of everybody else. Everybody else's reaction was priceless. So
yeah, watch it again. I got so much of that. It's great. You little shit. But it's cute. Okay. I had no memory of this scene. This feels like such a deleted scene. Like it's such an unnecessary but great character bit. Nice.
But it's like Geordi's 9, and his best friend's like moving. It's like
yes,
exactly how this scene plays. Like, ooh, Data says, "Is there something wrong?" Of course there is. You're going away. It's like, for fuck's sake. You're a grown man, Jordy. He doesn't act like it sometimes. It frustrates me.
I love that. Yeah, no, exactly. That's a
And,
perfect synopsis.
and Data says, as Dr. Pulaski would remind us, life is rarely fair.
Mm.
I don't know. It's a good scene, yes, for their friendship, but it doesn't look good on Jordy. He just acts like a little spoiled brat. I don't know.
I mean,
That's my opinion.
it's
sorry, Jeff Jacobs puts in 99 cents with this 100 sticker. I don't know if we got to 100 likes.
yes, 101. Woo!
There you go. That's why. All right. Thank you, Jeff.
I agree. I don't think they're built up enough. Like, if this was season 7, it would be fine. But we know they're friends. Yeah. They've said best friends, but you haven't really seen it enough for them to be this upset. It doesn't quite play that properly.
The only time that was mentioned was in Schizoid Man, where Picard's talking to Geordi and says, "You're probably the closest thing he has to a best friend." So, yeah, it's kind of unwarranted at this point.
And that's even assuming we know where it goes. It's not. Yeah. This is not a particularly well written bit, but I love the idea of the going away present, going apart with all the presents and stuff. That I thought was lovely. And although Troy, she's there, but she doesn't get a line. I just realised that. Huh. That would have been kind of nice. Whatever.
Yeah. So next scene, we're back to the whole, Riker and Picard are in the office. The Data is property of Starfleet. He cannot resign. It's her decision. So Picard challenges the decision. He says, "Convene your hearing," but I have no staff. And he's like, "Yeah, like that's my problem."
Yeah.
"Well, I can use senior officers instead. So, Captain, you'll defend. Commander, since you're the next highest ranking officer on his ship, you will prosecute. You'll be the prosecution." And Riker's like, "I refuse. I'm his friend." "Do you want me to prove that Data is a mere machine? I can't do that because I don't believe it. I happen to know better, so I am neither qualified nor willing." And then she's like, "Well, then I'll rule summarily against him and find that Mr. Data is a toaster. Have him report immediately to Dr. Maddox." And Riker's like, "Oh shit! I see. I have no option but to agree." So then she threatens him and says, "If I see for 1 minute that you're not doing your best, I'll end this here and there." Yeah.
What do you think of this scene then?
It's frustrating. It's frustrating to me because it's like conflict of interest, huge, like major. Conflict of interest is not. Lawyers can't they can't defend or whatever their family members because of closeness, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, maybe militaristically it does, because I was never in the military. I don't know if this is a thing that if you have to have this kind of trial, if it's the highest ranking officers, even if the person serves on, I don't know. But if you have an attachment to the person, you would think that, what about the Admiral? The Admiral's there. Couldn't the Admiral be the prosecution? But she deliberately said, as the next highest ranking officer aboard his vessel, you're the choice. It's like, I don't know. It bugs me.
Yeah, Cypher commanders. Apparently, they've got no concept of conflict of interest in Future Court.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously you don't use them as the officers on board the Enterprise. You do neutral parties because that's ridiculous. You say, right, well, we've got an admiral on this base. We've got a commander on this base. We've got a captain on this base. You're an effing captain. I mean, I'm sure there's at least 5 or 6 commanders on this base. You just pick one of them. You don't need to have staff. You just pick the commander operations on this base. I mean, there's no reason to pick Riker, and yes, Picard makes sense, fine, but surely the Admiral shouldn't let Picard be it, because they have conflict of interest, because she both was his last court-martial and they're in a relationship, and they hate each other, so she wants to bang him. So obviously she's now like. It is dumb. There is a lack of thought here. It's convenience of whoever.
Yeah, this is where it turns into like one of those
soap operas,
procedurals or legal dramas on TV, where everybody knows everybody and everybody's sleeping with everybody else, and it's like Grey's Anatomy, but like for in the courtroom. Just ridiculous.
Yeah,
Not. Yeah.
Yeah, it falls. This is the not even a TV trope. It's a, well, we've already hired these actors. They're already on staff. Let's just bring them in this day. Because instantly I literally said out loud, well, of course Riker's gonna do not his best. What?
Well, one of the super chat. I got to read the super chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Area 51 puts in $5.
Oh.
When picking a prosecutor, I'd expect Pulaski to push Riker aside and say, "I got this."
That's true.
She would have been perfect for the role, to be honest.
But it would have solidified our dislike for her, because you know it would have been out of... Like, the only reason you could have this... Because we are only meant to think Picard's right. So if you had someone genuinely believing the negative, we'd hate them. Having Riker as the negative means we can't but not...
I feel bad for Riker.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. I don't think you could argue it making sense, really. Because like I said, Riker would just do a worse job. Like, how is the lady to really justify he's doing the not his best? Like, Riker will just do his second best or third best attempt. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So how can you argue with gusto?
And Trek Reviewer, yeah, I've seen the Legal review of this episode. Ever seen any of the Legal Eagle videos, Samuel? He reviews
I've seen that he's done them, but I haven't watched this one
they're really good. I watched this one quite a while ago. But they're really well done. I enjoy his channel, so yeah.
Why didn't this admiral wasn't this captain the prosecutor? Why wasn't the admiral our adjudicator? Because surely the admiral outranks. Because surely this captain has to go to the admiral.
She's the head JAG officer, so she's responsible for this kind of thing.
So she outranks the admiral, even though he's the admiral of this base and the sector as well. Surely.
No, she's just the legal department of this division, so she's in charge of all legal proceedings. She's like the judge. The admiral's not qualified to be a judge.
I think I would just go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court being the admiral.
The Supreme Court be Starfleet on Earth for sure.
Oh. But who'd they be? They'd be admirals.
They'd all be admirals, yeah.
I don't know. But
that's silly.
The whole court is obviously a bit of a. The fact that they quickly redress the battle bridge. You know, they disassemble the battle bridge as consoles. They sort of view screen out. I mean, the fact they do all that shows it's a very quick turnaround procedure.
Yeah, and Robert Hayes says the admiral isn't a lawyer, but neither is Picard or Riker. So
yeah, neither is Maddox. I mean, no one uses lawyer training in this episode at all.
Yeah. And SWTX Chaser is probably right. Shouldn't there be a JAG officer on the Enterprise? Probably. There's JAG officers on every military ship.
What does JAG stand for?
I don't know exactly what it stands for. Somebody will tell us in the chat for sure. But it's just the naval branch of it's the naval legal system.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what JAG stands for. But somebody will tell us. I know that for a fact. Judge Advocate General. There you go.
Nice. Okay.
Everybody does. Not just one person. Everyone. Thank you, guys.
And now, if everyone that put it in, Super Chat's $5, we'll be able to make our...
And we can stop the review right here.
Cool. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. The next scene, though... They talk about something, don't know, whatever, don't remember. Next scene... What?
Hold on. This is where Data says I've gone from having multiple choices to none. Because when he resigned, he could have done whatever, right?
Yeah.
I hope Maddox is more competent than we believe. We're going to fight this. I've challenged the ruling. Because, yeah. So, yeah. Because Data says, I hope Maddox is more competent than we believe so I don't die. And Picard's like, don't worry. We're going to fight this. I've challenged the ruling. So, and then the next scene is Riker. He asks for all available schematics on Lieutenant Commander Data. And then comes up on screen about his off button, because it does a scan. Emergency manual control, operational nodes, and it shows the nodes on his back. And Riker gets a huge smile on his face, like, I just won. And he goes, shit, I just won.
Yeah.
It was great, but it was a little out of place, the smile. I don't know. I understand it, but I thought it was a little bit much.
So go back for a second where the scene with Data and Picard, great scene, because the elation on Data's face when Picard's like, I'm gonna fight this, is just a lovely bit of acting by Brent. It's like pushing that boundary as far as it can go, but you feel it so much.
Picard even asks him, I'm going to be representing you. Is there anyone else you feel more comfortable with? He says, no, you have my best interests at heart.
And it's so genuine. Like, oh my god, the humanity in this man's performance through the lens of this character is just so good. You know? I mean, I don't know what take this is, but they nailed it so hard. And then the Riker scene. I like the Riker scene a lot, actually. It's hard to watch, if that even makes sense. It's like, watch your hero prepare to shoot a kitten. And he's assembling the gun, and he's getting the silencer, and he's loading the bullet, and he's like, oh. It's like, it's not fun to watch. But I actually kind of love the smile, because he's an officer. I mean, you know, he's doing his job, his duty, his professional thing. Oh yeah, I like it's a again. This feels like a deleted scene. They added a scene. There's like a little bit of a between.
It did feel like that. But
it worked. I think it worked well. Yeah, and it gives him. It's a non-dialogue in terms of like he doesn't expound what he's doing, but it gives a lot of character within a little moment. So I think it's good. And then you get the redress battle bridge, which I find hilarious. That it looks like well, it's all moved around a bit. But it's it looks more to me like the Stargazer set, one of the things where they have the upper. It's just funny how they do and don't move certain things.
Yeah, and the witness chair is in front of the view screen. You see that later.
Yeah, and it's a big comfy recliner.
But
which makes me laugh.
It is amazing. It is amazing how they redress sets though, because yeah, you can tell what it is, but at the same time, it's like there's enough changes that it's like interesting. So yeah.
Well, it's amazing how to take off all of. I mean, they've taken away every single console. That's a lot of stuff.
Except for the ones they moved up there.
Yeah, they shouldn't have kept those. That's the biggest mistake.
Yep.
Having those is like, well, why are they consoles in this room and why are they behind people?
I get it if there's one of them somewhere and somebody behind it doing like the dictation, because you always have the stenographer doing whatever.
Yep.
But they didn't want to pay another actor, and but I can see that's why they're there maybe. But two of them, I don't know about that.
No, it tells you exactly what it is. It should. I mean, the view screen, that's a clever and dumb redress. But yeah, the consoles shouldn't have been there. But
maybe the courtroom wasn't set up yet, so this is like a science lab or something that they used for this occasion, because you didn't have staff yet. It was a new starbase. Maybe not everything was put in place. They just moved these tables in.
The problem is though, it could just been the holodeck then. I mean, once you start saying that, it's like either you're allowed to be on. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I just love the chair, the prosecution chair. It's like a big recliner that goes way too far back, and Data looks so uncomfortable. Later in the night scenes, like, yes, I'm here in this chair.
Yeah,
it's like I've sat in Enterprise D like a replica, and it, like you don't lean back, you sit on it. If you go back, you're like, right, I'm really at a very distinctly. It's like no one would sit like this on the chair, you know. They just sort of sit up and straight.
I'm gonna take a nap now.
Yeah. But yeah. Now starts
so
the courtroom. I mean, were you surprised at how far through this episode this was? Like, this is like a good 27 minutes or something along those lines.
SWTX Chaser puts in $2. The courtroom arrives on Tuesday. Yes.
Yeah.
So does the gavel, I guess.
Space.
Anyway,
gavel.
he puts his hand on the thing, says who he is, and it starts reading out his awards.
Yep.
And they want to stop it. Picard's like, no, I want these all read out. You know, to kind of make a point. So yeah, good. I didn't write them all down, but
no, it's cool stuff.
And then,
and how TOS was this? I mean, weren't you just getting TOS flashbacks?
Oh yeah. But Riker asks him first question: "What are you?" "I'm an android, sir." The Webster's whatever dictionary of it. Automaton made to resemble a human being. Yeah.
Sorry.
Then he asks him about his memory storage: 800 quadrillion bits of memory, rated at 60 trillion operations per second. All right, cool. That establishes that. And then we get, he brings out a rod of par steel, whatever that is, with a tensile strength of whatever. I didn't write it down because I don't care. Um, would you bend this? And Picard's like, objection. Many species are strong. Many can open a jar of pickles. Oh, wait a minute. What? Yeah.
Yeah. Made on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Open this jar of pickles for me.
The pickles never get stale, like the joke.
Yeah. But it's sustained. So he bends the bar for her, or for Riker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with Picard. Like, there are many species that are strong and have incredible strength. So
yeah,
Data is a bending unit. I knew it. Says Robert Hayes. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. What does this prove?
Nothing.
I mean,
That
Worf.
He's outside the realm of human. I don't know. Whatever.
But we knew that. I mean, Picard should have said, "Okay, I counter that. Worf, come in, and do the same thing." Shit.
Well, I don't think Worf would be able to. That's why they established what kind of is Parsteel with tensile strength of blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
That no organic creature could do it, probably.
Well, yeah. But they didn't say that. I wish they had. It felt like just a really strong thing. So they could have found something that he couldn't bend. You know, they picked something he could bend. Like if he'd said this material is what makes our starship hulls. You know what I mean? Some sort of very classification. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I heard you.
And look at Data like leaning back. It's such an uncomfortable looking chair. That is a wrong chair to get for this episode.
Yeah. But then Riker asks, I'd like permission to remove the commander's hand for your inspection. To which Picard goes to object, and he's like, never mind, doesn't matter. Withdrawn.
Yeah, what do you think he was going to say? Because I found that quite odd.
But he was going to say objection. Like, why would you
Well, no, he
ask?
He did say objection.
Why would you ask a witness on the witness stand to take off their prosthetic leg to prove that they don't have a real leg or a leg that comes off? I mean, you wouldn't necessarily do that.
I think you would. In a legal court, you can't be offended by anything if it's the law.
But here it's
it's like saying this man couldn't have robbed this store. He can't run 58 miles an hour. Okay, remove his leg. See, his leg isn't real. He can't run that fast. I think you absolutely would do that.
Yeah, but you can't make somebody remove their prosthetic limb if they don't want to. I think that's the point here. Is he wanted to make sure that Data had a choice in the matter, whether he wanted to remove his arm, but he knew she was just going to sustain it anyway, so he's like, whatever, just do it.
Well, it's like Data with the Tasha thing. He could choose not to do it, but it would harm his defense. I mean, he can't really. It's a courtroom, and you can't say no. I refuse to. It's like if you're guilty, you can't say no. I refuse. I know you can plead the fifth in America. You can't hear. It's like, I'm just not going to say anything. Oh. It's like, well, you.
We got another super chat though. Scottish Trek goes in £5.
Hey.
Hey guys, sorry for this. We also see how strong Data and Geordi's friendship is tight in Star Trek Nemesis after the death of Data, as Geordi is upset. Well, absolutely, yeah, but this is season 2. Halfway through, they haven't really built that so much yet.
Yeah, it's like right at the beginning, yet they're showing us near the end.
And that's why Samuel said if it was season 7, the scene would have been a lot more impactful. But it just looks like Geordi's a little spoiled little brat.
Christopher Rollins. There are many species that are stronger than humans, Picard says. Everyone in the galaxy is stronger than humans. It's like,
pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much.
No, that's fun. That's fun.
But anyway.
But wasn't it so easy to take his arm off? Like, it was just one little, it's like a Hoover. 2 little buttons come out.
And he shows it to her, and he's like, it's got whatever, blah, blah, blah. It was built by a man, programmed by a man, and now a man will shut it off. Turns him off. Pinocchio is broken. His strings have been cut. It's like, I felt that was a little much. That was a little much of a violation of Data's rights there. Not that he had his rights at this point, because they're arguing for his rights, but I felt that was a little much. That's like going up to a witness and saying, and now you're unconscious. Look at this. Look how easily he becomes unconscious. Seriously.
Well, I am agreeing with you. I'm just saying, to clarify more, it's like if you knew the person had a medical disease, that if you touched a pressure point that he has on his neck, it would throw him unconscious. You said, this man is barely human because he can be turned off. Touch a gland, he goes unconscious. it's yeah. I mean, they should have. It's an incredibly powerful moment. Like it plays like you do not expect the way he does it. You know it's coming, but he throws it in like he is abrupt as hell, and it's like oh shit. Like it really is dramatic. But yeah, he should have said, "Your Honor, I want to prove that he's not sentient. Permission to turn him off." And it was like, what? Like, yeah, this is. I mean, this is Data should have been pissed off at him for this moment specifically because this is going one step too far.
Because the only person that he's told about his off switch prior to this is Beverly.
Yeah.
There is the schematics, obviously, that show it, but it's not a well-known thing.
Yeah. No, it was yeah, but that is the point. That is the point. Yeah.
It was a powerful, impactful moment.
And the fact they cut right to Riker being like, "Oh, I hate myself. I hate." That's great.
Yeah.
You know. Oof. Yeah.
And then we're back on board the Enterprise, and we get the scene with Guinan. Again, the scenes with Guinan are always great, and especially between her and Picard.
Beautiful set. I mean, that's a beautiful set. Gorgeously simple yet beautiful.
And I guess everybody is on the starbase because it's so huge. They're all partying over there. Nobody in 10 forward.
Well, I got the impression this is like midnight or 2 a.m. and he can't sleep and no one's awake because the shifts are. This is the quiet time.
You always have shift rotations. There's always people that are up and about doing things.
But the audience is just, I don't think you're meant to think that. I agree, but I don't think you're meant to think
it's supposed to be late at night, I guess, because of the lighting and the way it looks. I agree, but there would be people in there. But they are at a starbase, so that being said, people would go over to the starbase and see something new. So I love how he says Riker's argument almost convinced me.
Yeah.
And Guinan's like, well, you have the harder argument. By his own admission, Data is a machine.
Yeah.
She goes on to say, well, maybe Maddox will be successful and create a whole army of Datas. And the history of many cultures, there have always been disposable people. They do the dirty work. Picard's like, that's when he clicks. He's like, you're talking about slavery. She's like, I think that's a little harsh. He says, I don't think that's harsh. That's the truth.
Well, she didn't think it was harsh either. That's why she bring it up. She's just.
Well, she literally said, I think that's a little harsh.
I know, but she's saying that as a way of like, a bit harsh. Don't you agree? Oh, I don't agree. Good.
Yeah.
She was
steering him in that direction. Yeah.
Yeah. She was letting him think it himself.
But the truth is hiding behind a comfortable, easy euphemism, property, instead of slavery. So yeah, it was a great back and forth here, and amazing scene.
It's one of those scenes that in modern cinema, they've lost the ability to be nuanced like this. They use the word slavery. They say it out explicitly, but it's not played in a way that hits you over the head. It's played in you're with the character, you're learning it from his perspective, you understand the universe they're in, you understand what she's saying. It plays that social commentary the way it should be done, not the way it's done these days. And it's sad to see how poor writing's got when social issues are just forced on people, and this is craftsmanshiply done. And Guinan didn't need to be black. That also made she probably loved playing it because of that. She could have been anybody, which is nice. She doesn't play it off herself, even though it's written that way, like for the character to say it, for the actress to say that. But it's not played that way, and I really appreciate that. But this is why I think the episode takes a shift from sci-fi just to social commentary of a 1960s approach, because it goes to just the property argument, with the fact that Picard's saying, well, even I was maybe convinced, is he sentient? That argument's never really... I mean, it kind of is with the three laws, but they don't really go conclusive with it. It's just then property over everything else. Then, slave race, it becomes, well, shit. Robert Picardo becomes a slave race for a few years. This is when it's like, oh yeah, that happened, shit. And what's the difference? A computer-generated person versus a computer-created person. They're both very similar, except the data is more changeable. But I'm sure you could change Data's brain. You just got to get into his brain first. Whereas the Doctor, you can change him on the fly.
Yeah. Anyway, back in the courtroom, And I love Picard's pro machine. Yes. Is it relevant? No, because we too are machines, just of a different sort. Very, very true. Love it.
Beautifully said. Beautifully
He was
acted.
created by man. Yeah, he was created by man. Again, not relative or relevant. Sorry. Children are created by their parents using DNA as building blocks. Blah blah blah. Um, so again, and he's right. You know, we are just a meat machine essentially running on electricity.
Yeah.
Electricity fires through us and keeps us going. So I love that. I love that argument. So good job. Then he starts going through Data's personal possessions. What are these? They're my medals. Well, why did you pack them? What logical purpose do they serve? I suppose none. I just wanted them. Is that vanity? Yeah. And then a book. Who gave it to you? You did, sir. Means something to me. Whatever. And then lastly, the Tasha hologram. You have no other portraits of your fellow crewmates. Why this particular person? I'd rather not say, sir. I gave Tasha my word.
Well, no, I just gave my word, but yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of, yeah.
Under the circumstances, I don't think Tasha would mind. Well, she was special to me, sir. We were intimate. And everybody kind of gets a reaction of that. Like, that surprised everybody, which I thought was great. Not a banned account, puts in $1.99. Doesn't Starfleet roll out data copies in Picard? Well, we haven't got there yet, so we don't know.
But probably not, no.
That's why we started this review by saying that this is a good one to review right before Picard, because who knows what's happening with the androids there. So
And thank you for no not banned account. We do rely on super chats, so please do. 127 people watching, 116 likes. Thanks everyone for joining in. Please do click like. We want to hit at least 150 by the end of this live, and at least another $50 would be great to keep us going for another week in the lives. We hope you guys are enjoying this review. If you do, if you're enjoying the stream, please do put in the chat if you're enjoying the stream, because this is an interesting one to look at. I hope you're doing.
Or if you haven't hit like yet, hit like so that we know you enjoyed it.
But yeah, I love the start, not relevant bit. I think it's very clever. It changes the entire argument. And you know, when he says we are machines, this is a clever script in that I don't try and predict where things are going when I watch them, because I feel like that diminishes the achievement of the reveal. If you guess who the villain is in the first 5 minutes, there's no payoff. If you don't, by choice, then you get the strength of it, you know? So I didn't get that. I didn't think that we're machines too, but when you say it, it's like, well, yeah, obviously. And so I was able to live it with the judge. And it's true. How can you justify we're different, you know, machine is still a machine, we're still a process, you know?
Yeah. AC Castillo, though, sent us a PayPal of $2.54. It says, this is one of the only episodes where Riker actually turns someone off.
Boom, chicken
Clever
boom.
boy.
Love it. Very smart. The only thing I wish that improved in this scene about showing the stuff is I wish they hadn't telegraphed it so much by Data's in his quarters. He touches 3 items. Look at the courtroom. Here's the 3 items. I just felt that was stupid cinema. You should have put like 6 things in and then 3 come out. I just felt it was a little bit like, ugh, really? TV show much. The book's fun. And yeah, Brent's acting for Intimate is again the right act, the right time, the right script. Because how do you play that line? You know. Although I don't think him just being intimate with somebody means he's alive, because you could order the computer to create a holographic program to have sex with you. You know what I mean? And Data didn't shoot. Sorry.
But it wouldn't care that it was intimate with you. It would just say, yeah, I was intimate with them.
Well, I mean, what's his name? The holographic singer in DS9. I mean, if he slept, I mean, I could see him sleeping with one of the DS9 crew and enjoying it and liking it and being fine. You know, I mean, you can still have machines that, you know, and Data didn't have a choice really. Data was like, oh wow, someone wants to sleep with me, cool. You know what I mean? You know, it's almost like Tasha ordered him in a small sense.
He was also under the influence.
Was he? Yeah, he was. But I mean,
yes, he was.
But they weren't instantly infected and you know. But I don't think that proves, because you know, it's like, you know, whatever. But I mean, it's more just showing that he has a breadth of experience that, you know, would have been nice to be in a relationship with somebody. That would have said more. Because a very horny woman who couldn't control herself came onto him. It's just, you know what I mean? It's not the same as a, you know, whatever. What's the next bit of the argument? Oh yeah, then Remick. No, Remick? No, is that the other guy? Maddox. Damn it. Slip of the tongue. Maddox comes to the thing. I kind of found it funny though that every single time they only call Data the Stand, it's like the only possible, you know, this is funny that always was Data and just Data.
Well, the thing that's funny about this is he puts his hand on the thing and starts reading out all his merits. Picard's like, yes, we know he's an expert.
Yeah.
Well, you made them read out Data's. I mean, I expect the writer to say, well, no, I think this is relevant. I don't know. But the plan of attack here is fantastic on Picard's part. You know, prove to the court that I'm sentient.
Yep.
So what entails sentience? Intelligence, self-awareness, and what was the last one? Why didn't I write that down?
Intelligent, self-aware, conscious.
Oh, sense of self. That's self-awareness, though. Anyway, we'll get there.
You guys will tell us.
Notes. It'll be in my notes somewhere. Yeah, I guess Maddox isn't on trial. That's very true.
He's
anyway,
a star witness in the trial.
So Picard asked Data, you know, what's at stake? And Data says, my right to choose. Well, he seems self-aware to me, Commander. There's no doubting that he's intelligent.
Yeah.
Do you like Commander Data? Well, I don't know it well enough to like or dislike it. I want to learn from it. So you want to construct hundreds, thousands maybe. There's no limit. A single Data is a curiosity, unique. But thousands of them, isn't that a race? And won't we be judged by how we treat that race? Now tell me, Commander, what is Data? He's a machine. Well, he's met two of your criteria for sentience. What if he meets the third, consciousness, even in the slightest degree? Then what?
Yeah.
Consciousness.
Yeah.
The courtroom. I love this line. This is epic. The courtroom is a crucible in which we burn away all irrelevancies until we're left with something pure, the truth. That was beautiful. Yeah. I don't want to get too far ahead. I don't want to say anything here or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's a masterful script. But this is when you realize I looked at the remote, only 7 minutes left. I was like, oh, we're going to resolve this really easily. They still have that problem every episode of being a bit easy. Now, yes, it's a tremendous speech. Doesn't necessarily prove everything, but this episode is not necessarily about doing it the proper legal way, more just the good script way. But, I mean, the fact that Maddox isn't a human expert, most people who go into robotics aren't as good at humans. So it's not fair to say, how am I sentient? Well, if you brought a biologist in, they could probably explain that. You know what I mean? It's like saying, Samuel, how does a car work? Is a car alive? How does a car engine work? Is it magic? Is it magic? No? How'd you know? I don't know. You know? So it's not exactly fair, but it's a really, really, really good speech. And at least the two criteria. Although, how do you judge consciousness? At the end of the day, Data is still just memory program ones and zeros. You know? So does he have consciousness? Well, he has a program of consciousness. He's learned to be, you know, is the T800 in Terminator 2 conscious? He's learning computer. Well, he's programmed to learn and be more. But isn't that more just, you know what I mean? Is he alive? I don't know. But I mean, but it's not. That's the thing. They stop to the point of, we're not judging if he is conscious. That's not the point. It's once you do get him and make thousands of him, then the judgment is, well, that what you say today, person in charge, your ruling determines if those people is a slave race, is a real race.
We're about to get to that.
Yeah, I'm just saying this bit is just to set up the second bit, because it's not.
Yeah.
Is he conscious? Who's to say? We don't know. I'm not even going to bother argue that. It's the next point.
Yeah, exactly. Jeff Jacobs puts in 225. 125 likes. Awesome. We can get to 150. Hashtag make Jeff pay. Yes. Yeah, Picard goes on to say, eventually someone will be able to create another android like Data. Your decision here will determine how we treat that individual and define us as a people. It will reach far beyond this courtroom and this one android. You could redefine the boundaries of personal liberties and freedoms, expanding them for some, savagely curtailing them for others. Are you prepared to condemn him and all who come after him to servitude and slavery? Your Honor, Starfleet was founded. Well, here it is. Make it a good one. And epic speech, guilting her into her decision. Pixels at Dawn puts in £5. Do we think they've had rights issues about lesser AI in the Federation at this point? This can't be the first time it's come up, surely. That's a good question. I don't know. They don't call out any precedents or any.
No, they really don't.
So
my guess is that as a rule of thumb, they haven't made AIs that good. That they always keep that level between, I guess, is my sort of vibe. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it's. I mean, it's a really. I mean, what do you think of the whole argument? I mean, this is the crux of the entire episode. This bit.
It's fantastic, and it's well delivered. Not only is it well written, well thought out, but it's well delivered and well acted. I mean, it's just beautiful, and really, there's no. I mean, a good lawyer could probably come up with an argument against it, but considering that the prosecution went first, now it's the defense's turn, so that's the last thing that the judge hears. It's a good last message to leave them with. I think it was masterfully done, just in all regards. So, yeah.
Lyopoldron, and yet they still will let Moriarty hologram rot in the computer core.
Well, he comes back and they basically give him a free world to play in.
Yeah, but you would think they'd bring that up here. Well, is he sentient? He has full self-aware. If Data does, he does. This would be a great time to offload him off the ship's computer.
It's interesting. Yeah, give him to Maddox. Here, work with this. This guy's kind of conscious. He's already in the computer, so take him.
We accidentally made a sentient, self-aware AI. Oops. And he's Moriarty. Ha! Weird. No, it's a great speech, and it's not so much about proof as feelings and about future precedent, which is why I like it. It's the choose carefully now, because this will be how people judge you. As he does as was on the CD, the music swells and he points at people and said, "Do you know? Do you know? Do you? Do you?" So I'm saying, it's basically saying you have no right, judge, to judge this. So judge on my side, so that you're not the worst of two evils, because you have no right to judge this. Be careful. So he's he's kind of guilting her. I think you said that already. He's guilting her.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and then I love her response to it though. It sits there looking at me, and I don't know what it is. This case deals with metaphysics, things that are best left to saints.
Yeah.
I'm neither competent nor qualified to answer those.
Yeah.
I have to make a ruling to try to speak to the future.
Yeah.
Is Data a machine? Yes. Is he the property of Starfleet? No. We've been dancing around the basic issue. Does Data have a soul? I don't even know that I have a soul. But I have to give him the freedom to explore that question for himself. It is the ruling of this court that Lieutenant Commander Data has the freedom to choose. And yeah, her speech is equally as good, to be fair.
This is her best acting, because she delivers it without any sort of personal pro or against. She gives it a very professional, lawyery, matter of fact, and this is where I think there's no interplay between her and Picard of her being any bias, which is what it was truly set up to be, but didn't quite give it. Quick little comment. Vega Alnon says, "Sorry, Data is not unique at this moment. Episode. They know about law at this point." Thoughts?
Laura's essentially, well, I think he's dead at this point, don't they? We should just give him to Maddox. There you go. There's a solution. Here, take
Well,
this one.
they obviously give B4 to. I mean, oh god, what a reference! Bring Maddox back in Picard season 1.
Ooh, maybe.
I'm sure he's still alive.
Well, Jarzia throws in $2 Canadian. Is Moriarty sentient, or the computer that made him? Ooh, good question.
The computer, no, the Moriarty, not the computer that made him. I would say quite easily.
And Andrew Maddox is here. Andrew Maddox, well, different Maddox, but Maddox is here. Puts in $2 and says, "I really hope Maddox gets referenced in Picard."
There
what
we go.
You want yourself referenced?
He's in Picard. Wait, another point about. Oh,
Lore.
Yeah, thank you. God, you're doing great. I remember what lore. Thing is, they are different because one's a prototype, one's not. So they're built different. They're different neural net sequences. One keeps conjunctives. One learned to be human with humans. One didn't. They're not built the exact same. It's like saying the iPhone 1 is the same as the iPhone 2. It's like, well, they're not. They are unique, even if they're both the same, almost the same. By having any different components, they are by definition unique. So no, they are different, and they have very different personalities. And personalities are born by experience. And Law did Law have the memories of all the colonists in his brain? I don't think he
No.
did. Yeah, so double, triple unique. So I would argue they're very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then Data formally refuses to undergo the procedure.
And
yeah. It's like, all right, well, I'll cancel the transfer order.
God, yeah.
But Data's, doesn't have hard feelings. He's like, and Commander, continue your work. When you are ready, I will still be here, unless I get killed in a huge explosion. So,
look, until someone invents a Thalaron cannon, which is illegal, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Until that day.
Yeah.
And then Maddox went on to be the one that ruled against Thalaron weapons in the council, and he thought he was safe.
Yeah. But Data goes on to say, too, I find some of what you propose intriguing. And then he walks away, and Maddox says, he's remarkable. Ah, you didn't call him it. Yeah. And then there's stupid dinner. Are you buying? Well, we don't have money in the 24th century, so no.
Bitch. No, it's a well, that's actually a nice smile, though. Good job, Pep. Yeah, I love Data. I love Brent's acting with the guy here. It's very measured, and Maddox's acting is quite good. I mean, he could always appeal. Because one line I forgot to mention I was going to say earlier. I apologize. In the sort of middle before we get to the courtroom, Maddox says, "What about my rights to all of my life's work being ruined?" So it gives it a little bit easy. I would have said the logical extension to the story would have been, I am sorry, Mr. Data. How do you feel about coming to work with me on a voluntary, part-time assignment for several weeks so I can study you without deactivating you? And Data would say, yes, if we have certain agreements that he won't destroy me.
But in Data's day, we know that he's been communicating back and forth with Maddox on a regular basis since this incident. Because that log from Data's day is to Commander Maddox.
God,
So he's kind of been working with him from afar to help him with his research. So, yeah, it's not really clarified too much, but if you listen, it is to Maddox. So,
because I guess when he makes LOL, it's quite important to Maddox. Surely he would be on the first space flight. Wait, you still there? Oh, yeah. Surely, as soon as Maddox learns about LOL, he'd be on the first Riser Express to him.
Yeah, Riser Express.
In joke. And then he turns up. He's like, Data. Oh, Lieutenant Maddox. What happened? She's dead. What? It took me a day. But I would assume that he might get LOL's body. I mean, it was a functional neural net for the most part. I just think there could have been another little ending to this where it's like, but would you at least come help me? Because they make a big point of saying it's his life work and he wants to do this for everyone, but it would have devalued the we beat the baddie, yeah, screw Maddox. Whereas really, Data kind of says, I get it, you dickhead. I get it.
Yeah.
And then you're right with the captain at the end is a bit forced, especially since it didn't play a part in the episode at all.
Yeah.
And they obviously don't date ever again. So
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But she's like, now that I ruled in your favor, can we have some
sex?
Dinner?
You owe me, Picard. You owe me the D.
The big Enterprise.
Yes. D. Yes. I want command, Picard. Give me your ship. What? Yeah.
But not the last scene. Then we see Riker in the conference room looking out the window.
Yeah.
Data comes in and says, there's a celebration on the holodeck. And Riker's like, I don't deserve to be there. Why? Because you failed? And then Data makes a logical point. He says, if you hadn't done it, she would have summarily ruled against me. So that action injured you and saved me. And I will not forget that. And Riker says, you are a wise man, my friend. Data's like, no, not yet. But with your help, I am learning. And then they...
This is a lovely epilogue scene. It's I felt kind of hard to watch. I kind of felt with Riker, so like his acting's so good. But I love Data's line, you know, you hurt yourself to not hurt me. I will not forget that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's simple, and it makes Riker realize, yeah, I sacrificed my own morals to not let you die. Like he was being selfless in his, even though it's a weird way to look at it, but I was selfless in trying to destroy your life. I was being selfless. It's true, and it's weird, but it's yeah. But it's a good scene, right? I mean, come on, Frakes, what an actor. At least in this role, what a performance.
Yeah, so that's it, guys. It's over. Measure of a Man.
That was it. One of the most famous ones of all Trek. What do you guys think of our review? Are you? Are you? Yeah. Let us know what you think of our review first, as in what we did, because this is a big one. And then Stuart, give me your then now full breakdown review. And did you change your mind after having watched the episode again fully and talked about me for 2 hours? Your thoughts?
I mean, I always knew it was a good episode, but having just watched it, you realize how good it really is. I mean, it would be forgotten and be like, oh yeah, that was a good one. I remember that, but not really. So it didn't change my opinion of it at all. I did appreciate a lot of this episode, though, for the
fantastic
acting and writing. It was very well put together, very well paced, like I said, and definitely some great character moments. It does not feel like early TNG.
No.
If they didn't have the uniforms without the collars, you could play this at any time and people wouldn't know what season it was from. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Is that well done? It's like TNG starting to find its stride right now. It's coming into its own.
And the poker.
But that being said, we have Casino Royale coming up soon.
I like that one.
It's interesting, but it's definitely first season or two of TNG. You know what I'm saying? But no, I thought this was a fantastic episode. So many great moments in it, and epic speeches and things that really make you think. The moral issues are not easily answered. Let's put it that way. I love how she was even like, I don't even know if I have a soul.
Yeah, that was a good line. That was a good
and that speaks to like everybody, So I thought it was very well done. So I'm gonna have to, for season 2, it's gonna get a.
And be honest, Stuart. No one's gonna crucify you. This is our own opinions. So just gut reaction.
I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of season 2. This is a great episode.
Okay.
For all of TNG, I'm gonna give it probably a 9. Just because I think there are a few ones that are more Star Trek-y. Like this one, like I said, could have been, any other show kind of thing.
Well, it could have been The Outer Limits. I mean, without any changes actually. Without zero changes, it could have been Outer Limits. Could have been a
it's not
Farsko
unique.
episode. It could have been
Yeah.
Orville. I mean, it could just be an Orville episode. I mean, there is,
Yeah.
you know.
But it's still a fantastic piece of television, and just absolutely rewatchable again and again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely a 9 for all of TNG. So there you go.
Yes. We've got a good super chat though. Very good super chat.
All right, you want me to read it now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Cadmus67 puts in £10.
Yes.
10 pounds for a 10 out of 10 TNG and Trek Yards episode. Ah, thanks, Cadmus. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, and guys, please, this is a big one. If you want to support, put any amount. Consider this a super chat for one of the best episodes of Trek. So support with a super chat if you can. We're not having a great month so far, so even $5, like $5 would make a massive difference. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I always want to be fair with things, with Discovery, with TOS, with everything. There are some problems with this episode. And I shouldn't just ignore them because that's not fair to other things we look at, you know? And when you get to such a good episode, saying, oh, who cares about model shots, is stupid and broken and wrong.
Oh, model shot.
You know what I mean? Because if we can ignore it in this episode, then we can ignore a Discovery ship not making sense. Oh, who cares? But that's not... The team is better than that. You know, they could have even just shrunk the ship in, like, the remaster just shrunk the miniature shot. Like, they could have fixed it. They didn't. It was a mistake. End of story. You know, the pace is good, but there's some redundant bits with the Admiral a bit. It doesn't play as well. The argument isn't as strong as it could have been. It needed percentage more of the time. Maddox, I think, maybe needed one more scene. Could have been kind of good. So I think it didn't... It reached what it needed to reach, but I think it's going to be even better as an episode. Actually, I think that director's cut might be the better version because it's got the extra few minutes of time. And also, you have paused if you want to restart your camera because you've lost the video.
Alrighty.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, I'm back.
Yay, you're back. Huzzah. And for me, honestly, I like Star Trek episodes. This could be anything. So I think you also judge it in two ways. As a quality episode, it's probably a 10 out of 10 for just an episode of television, right? Because then a model shot doesn't matter. And you don't even know if she and the captain are ever going to be in love again. It doesn't matter. As a Star Trek episode, though, it's not the best Trek episode. But that's kind of intertwinedness. That's why Discovery could be a great bit of content, be a bad Trek episode. Or you can even have a great Star Wars episode that's a better Star Trek episode than what it is, or whatever. So it's a hard one to give because I want to be really fair with my gut reaction. I think this lived up to my thoughts in general, but it wasn't as good Star Trek as I was hoping for. I was expecting more out of it, which I did not get. That said, what I got was really good, but I was expecting more, but different more. But the script is excellent, and that's where it really shines, the performances. It just could have done with like 10% more Trek in it, you know? So for season 2, I'm questioning, do I like this or last episode more? Because that had aliens, it had, you know, a really
very
good
Star
script.
Trek.
It was very Star Trek. The Klingons aren't just black people. There isn't just direct parallel, so it's more sci-fi, more, you know, by making it less a parallel, direct parallel, you're allowed to be a bit more broad in the social commentary, you know? The fact that they exist as a almost exclusively good Klingons, you know, the model shots are better than this one for sure. I enjoyed that one probably more than this one in terms of a Trek episode, but I hold that against it or not. You know what I mean? It's hard to kind of... I forgot to write which one's the measure of a man. So I'm going to have to get this on par with last week. Give it a 9 for season 2.
Okay.
I think they're both excellent in different ways. I can't say this is better than last week's. You know? They're different. But it's definitely not a 10 as a Trek episode, I don't think. All of TNG, I'll probably give it also a 9. I think it's in the top echelons of TNG. You could say it's in the top 10%. But I enjoy the ones more easily. Like, yes, Enterprise is way better. Like, that one is just better for me. In almost every way. You know? I enjoy All Good Things a lot more than this one. Yes, it's a two-parter, but I enjoy that one more.
Well, this one easily could have been a two-parter. There could have been... You could have had some conversations with Deanna because Picard's struggling with things, or Riker struggling with having to prosecute
Mm.
Data. You definitely could have stretched this into a two-parter. It would have been so easy.
You know what if should would have happened? If in part 2 they revealed Law was alive. They actually had Law captured for years, or for 6 months, and he comes in and he tells secrets that Data's not a real person. And he gives them the secret of Data's brain, and they replicate Data's brain inside a test android. And you could have made it a really intricate thing. And Devereaux has a really great point, which she said at the start as well. I've said before, you'd think when Data joined Starfleet, they would have settled whether he was or was not property. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Exactly. And then, but as a 10 out of 10 if it was just a episode of TV. I think it's TV, but it could be so many other things.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a 10 out of 10 for Trek, but very good. And I'm excited to see the extended version. 16 minutes is quite a lot, because I'm hoping a lot of it's courtroom stuff, because I thought that was not lacking, but it could have done more. Yeah, but well done. It was good. It was about, I guess, as good as I hoped for.
Well, Jarzia puts in $5 Canadian.
Thank you.
10 out of 10 for both TNG and Season 2. Best episode of Season 2 and second best of the show for me. Made me think about what consciousness is and how we decide what has it.
It's funny. This probably also relates to a different generational thing, because when you guys were younger, this is more of an issue. But for me, this isn't as much of a moral issue, because of I would have ruled instantly on this sort of thing. Whereas in the 80s, it's this is more of an issue. Whereas I'm so into sci-fi that it's not a hard-hitting, groundbreaking sci-fi. It's well, yeah, I've lived through this sort of high-tech sci-fi robots people for a long time. You know what I mean? It doesn't have the same impact now. I just see it more as a Black analogy, when it just feels more like a TOS episode, which it still works on, but it's not that same groundbreaking content. Robert Hayes, surprised didn't just review the extended version to start with. Well, problem is, most people haven't seen it, and it's not how it was originally presented. So 99% of people didn't think of it first time. So you should, that was what was released. That's what people said was the best episode ever. So you got to review it as it came. The extended is a lucky one. It's you don't review Alien 3, the director's cut, before the theatrical, because one was what everyone saw, one is the better version.
Or Superman, the Donner cut, for the theatrical release that we had for 20 years before they came out with the Donner release.
Or we don't wait for the Snyder cut of Justice League before reviewing Justice League, because they picked the thing that came out. So,
yeah.
Trade cards, I'm only 31, not a big generation gap. No, it's fine, but it makes a difference. I mean, and also I was into sci-fi maybe more than you were as a kid. I have no idea. How do you watch the extended version, Dan? It's on the Blu-ray. Buy the Blu-ray. And yeah, I think we'll watch that when we hit the end of the season. And just
I don't think I've ever seen the extended version. So
well, no one did until this Blu-ray. So that's also, I mean, except the production team. I think what we'll end up doing is reviewing those scenes, and then sort of say, is it better now? So it'll be a shorter live, but I think that'll definitely be fun to do. Yeah, so guys, we've done the 2 hours. Please do super chat. If we can get another $15 for a brilliant episode, that'd be great. Like I said, we're a really kind of hard month, and which is not good coming to Christmas. I've got some ideas how to help at the end of the month, which hopefully you guys will be able to help with. But yeah, $15 will be cool. And then we can pop off. Then tomorrow, Stuart, what are we looking at tomorrow?
I don't know. What are we looking at tomorrow? Mandalorian Chapter 1.
Mandalorian Chapter 1. Oh my goodness.
Yay.
Have you seen it yet?
Yes.
I have not, so that's exciting.
I'm not going to tell you what I thought. So,
Good.
SWTX Chaser puts in $15. Enjoying the lives.
Damn, son. There we go. Okay.
Oh, sent a PayPal. We got a PayPal from DGR Blue. Let me check that.
The man that can.
He's my tactical officer most days.
Oh.
And he puts in $12.71 Canadian.
Oh.
And says money. So thank you very much.
Oh no, he's
Much
buying the captain's non-girlfriend dinner.
Yeah. Yes.
Brilliant. Yeah. No. Thank you, dudes. Thank you. That really helps. And we do help. You guys can help us at the end of the month. We'll do a thing to help us out. And then, but on my Mandalorian, obviously, or Mandalorian at. Oh, isn't that kind of fun? Actually, we've got 2 brilliant TNG episodes, Mandalorian and Short Trek, in the same week.
Mm-hmm.
That's some pretty substantial stuff to look at in 1 week. I've got to be honest with you.
And another Mandalorian on Friday. But we won't get to that
Is it
probably till
really?
early next week. Yeah. Part 2 or the second episode's coming out on the 15th.
I thought it was
So
the
we
week
probably
after.
we won't review that probably till Monday.
Holy hell! I'm not here. I can't do. But that's wow. Okay.
Rick Cassell the third puts in
Oh,
$15. Love these reviews. Thanks. Well, thank you very much. We love doing them for you. So
and we do it for people like you guys. That's awesome. Well, hey Stuart, I guess you'll be doing a live on Saturday. First review, first reaction.
oh, it says Mandalorian second episode. Yeah, absolutely.
And
yeah.
the irony is that that's great for us because if we do that many lives, yes, it takes a lot of time from us. But if each one gets us certain dollars, it certainly makes the month better. So that's exciting. Please, guys, if you want to know Stuart's thoughts, join him for I guess his 2 first reaction and our full reviews. Would be really helpful. Thank you.
And Martin Devon says, "Do another drunk trek. I'm more generous when I'm drunk." Will do. Just stay tuned.
Yeah, we want to do one soon. They'll be fun. Oh, Robert Hayes, Rick and Morty review. Ooh, that's more of a me thing than a you thing. Ooh, maybe. I don't know. Would you guys? I mean, put in the comments now. Would you turn up and would you super chat for a Rick and Morty review? Because I could always do them. That's up to you. I mean, if 120 of you turn up and we get $50, probably worth it. Let me know.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks guys. This was fun.
It was.
Oh, another PayPal, Stuart.
What?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Thank you, Brian.
Look at that.
And yeah, you guys had a great chat. Thanks for the chat, guys. This time,
Alex Costello sent 25.43 Canadian.
Oh, wow.
And he says, "Happy holidays."
Oh.
So thank you very much.
Wow, brilliant.
Appreciate that, AC.
And it's fun because we use, if you PayPal, it goes to our business account, which we spend on like kit and stuff. And there's a really cool project we're hoping to do next year, so that will go directly towards that. Awesome. And Super Chat goes towards our rent because that's important. So it's kind of, we keep that separate because we're not here to milk off the channel. We don't just use the back, the business account. That would be daft. But yeah, so I guess I'll see you tomorrow, Stuart. Same Trek time, different Wars content. That felt natural.
Mm-hmm. New Star Wars content. That's.
And it's funny. I think it might be the first real Star Wars content in like 7 to 10 years. I mean, thanks for not saying anything, but I'm excited to see. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything. Martin Devon puts in £2 though and says, "Good night, dudes." Good night, Martin. Good night, everyone. Thank you guys for watching, and come back tomorrow if you're interested in the Mandalorian Star Wars content. Fleet Yards live, if you will. There you go.
Wait, I thought you were doing first reaction to that one.
I can do that tonight, maybe, if you want.
I guess you're gonna have to. Yeah, God, timings. Because we're doing on Friday. So yeah, you do it tomorrow, but it came out today. Yeah. Okay.
It came out today. We're reviewing it tomorrow.
No, we're reviewing it Friday. I'm at a concert tomorrow. Remember?
You asked what we were doing tomorrow for a live.
I know. I was wrong.
I said I don't know.
I know. I was wrong. I thought Mandalorian came out tomorrow. Because the short track came out tomorrow.
Well, the short track comes out on Thursday.
Yes.
So we'll be reviewing that on Friday.
Okay. Because I'm not here tomorrow at all. Right.
Friday
is short track. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but Friday, listen to me for a second. Friday, I have a thing at 7 o'clock, 7:30, so we can't go over the 2-hour mark.
Right.
I have to get the hell out of here. So
okay.
It's a short trek. It's a 15-minute short trek, so I can see us doing it in an hour and a half, but we can't go over the 2-hour mark.
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
We could review Mandalorian episode 1 and 2 on Monday. Maybe.
Yeah, but that splits the viewer in it. Well, what? Okay, you do 2 first reactions, Stuart, because that'll get people in, and then we can maybe do a joint one. How long are the episodes?
They're like 45 minutes. Or
Okay.
hour-long episodes almost.
Oh God. Okay, this gets difficult. Okay. I mean, would you rather do a first reaction tonight or tomorrow? Can you make a thumbnail, like a visually cool thumbnail? Would that be good? Or
I
would you
guess I
rather...
could do one tomorrow. I don't know. The late night guys are pretty generous. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, what's easy for you guys? I mean, because we need more people. You know, it's all 50 of you go. It's more worth coming tomorrow. So would you rather watch it in a couple of hours for Stuart tonight, or tomorrow maybe the same-ish time or a little bit later, probably a little bit later? Because we want to get more
Jeff
people.
says the first episode is only 37 minutes. So there you go.
Mm.
That's that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we can do Mandalorian episode 1 full review Monday and episode 2 full review Tuesday. I guess.
Yeah, we could do that.
Because I'd rather not. We don't want a 3-hour live. You know, like 2 hours is already quite a long time. So we'll probably do like a bit and a bit. And if you do first reaction one of these nights, maybe do a poll. Yeah, do a poll on Trek. I'd say which you'd rather do. And then at least tell people that you're doing it. And then do if you want on Saturday for like an hour, see how many people, and then we'll do Monday and Tuesday. Okay.
Make me a thumbnail for it.
Okay.
Or do you want me to do it?
No, I'll wait. Do it tomorrow, and I'll do both thumbnails.
Okay.
Okay. Tomorrow, Stuart. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow I'll be doing a
First reaction
to The Mandalorian first episode.
Oh.
It won't be very long because I don't want to go into detail on it because we're going to wait for a review of that. So I don't know if it's a good idea to do it at the regular time either. That's why I think later at night would be better because it's a different format.
Well, as long as you schedule it with a cool thumbnail, and you still get people interested.
And don't worry, we're not going to talk about spoilers right now. Or anybody in the chat better not talk about spoilers.
We'll go in a second, but just go clear that up because that got too many things releasing this week actually.
We're not doing a live tomorrow, you and I. All right, cool.
No,
Good.
I got the concert.
Yes, confused me earlier.
Yeah, sorry. Days, man, days.
Poof, you're a thumbnail captain. Thank you, AC Costello.
Wait, hold on. What day is it today? Because my clock says tomorrow, so tomorrow's...
Today is Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday.
Okay. No, my concert is on Thursday. So you're right the first time. Okay. Stuart, your first reaction tonight. The full review tomorrow. I've got concert on Thursday. That's when the short Trek comes out. Full review on Friday. Because my clock said Wednesday.
And then Mandalorian Part 2 on Monday.
Yes.
All right, cool. Figured out. There you go,
That's why I was confused because it's currently Wednesday for me, and I was like, "Oh, it's Thursday."
But it's not though. It's still Tuesday because you're still awake. Don't pull that midnight becomes the next day bullshit. It's not the next day so you go to sleep and open your eyes.
Robert and Martin both say Wednesday, so they understand why I was confused. There's currently Wednesday. Sorry, Stuart.
There's technicalities and then there's real life.
I do apologize.
It's not Wednesday yet.
I do apologize for screwing you around, but hey, you got to see some live action confusion there.
Tomorrow we're doing Mandalorian review part 1. Yes.
Is Samuel alive?
Right.
Does Samuel have a soul? That's what we've learned in this episode. At the end, does he have any sort of common sense soul?
Bye, guys.
Stuart will see you in a bit. He'll schedule it after I make a thumbnail. See you later. Good night.
See you later, guys.